Hi, welcome to today. My name is Lynn Hoerauf. I'm an author and a speaker, and you can learn more about me at lynnspeaks.com. I'd like to thank the Strategic Advisor Board for sponsoring this video today, and let's get started. This is Relational Effectiveness, where we look at different ways that we can make our relationships more effective. And today I have a special guest on, and his name is John Hoerauf. He's my better half. He's my partner in crime. He's my husband. So we're going to get started today, John. Any
Okay.
thoughts on some of the things we talked about so far?
Well, the thing I'm thinking is we talked about yesterday how understanding our different personality types works within our relationship. I'm thinking about how it can affect at work too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that you have been a leader in many ways through your career. And so tell me, how has this affected your leadership, your workplace, maybe even when you weren't necessarily a director or whatever.
Mhm.
Tell me more about how this has affected you.
One thing I've seen is as a supervisor over people, people fall into the different categories. And when you're looking at them from the outside in, if you're paying attention, you can really see these differences. And I know you talked in some of your videos how the couple of them are opposite each other. The high D and the high S are opposites, and the high I and the high C are opposites. And I remember a couple of employees a while ago that were having a hard time with each other. And the one of them was very high I. And so this person was really excited and wanted to talk all the time and always looking for building relationships and sitting down with people before work and in between and after work and just really excited and happy. And the other person was a very high C who liked to come in and sit at the desk, get the work done. Everybody was in cubicles, so this person, I think, it was a little bit more of a struggle for them because they didn't have their quiet space, and so they would work really hard to create that space. But then when the high I was bouncing around like a butterfly and wanting to visit and talk and have fun and bring some life into work, the high C was, it just made that person crazy. And so this high C came in and talked to me and said, listen, it's just not working because there's so much noise and we can't get any work done. And so I was able to put it in a category as opposed to, if I wasn't thinking of it through the disc, I would see that, okay, these two people don't get along. Maybe the high I needs to tame it down because that's not appropriate for the office, or depending on where I would come from, I could approach it in the wrong way. But being able to see this is just who they are, and they can both move toward the center and learn to work better with each other and then make a better team was a very very helpful situation
Wow.
as a supervisor that way.
Yeah, cool. That sounds like a shift. Somehow this paradigm has given you a way to shift how you approach something. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. You get away from seeing disciplining negative behavior to accepting that that's who they are. It's not negative, it's just different. And especially if it's different from me. That's where I see a lot of supervisors run into problems is if somebody is on the opposite of them, they assume they're wrong or that they don't care about work or that they're too not engaged enough with people or they're too bossy or they're too whatever just because they're different than the supervisor is. And that then becomes a real heavy-handed kind of approach that I need to discipline that person as opposed to appreciating that person and seeing how they can really be helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you brought up, they can come towards center. We've talked about as we become more tempered, we move toward the other person more. And just hearing your scenario, it sounds like maybe the I needs to pull it in a little bit. Maybe she
Mm-hmm.
needs to just like maybe just certain parts of the day, beginning or end, or something where it's not just so what could be considered disruptive to somebody. Um, and maybe this other person come out more or at least understand it. It sounds like
Mm-hmm.
understanding it goes a long way in our relationships, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Another example, I had a friend of mine he's a very high C. And when I would run some stuff by him, I'd make a new presentation or something, I'd run it past him, and he would point out all of the things that maybe should be better. And I would even tell him, it became a joke. I'd tell him, man, I don't want to come to you because you make me crazy. I come here thinking I have a good project and I leave thinking, oh, good grief, I got to do the whole thing over again.
Right.
But he really made my work better. and I
Yeah.
appreciated him. And I could tell there were other people in the organization that didn't appreciate his style. And so they saw him as a negative, where
Mm,
I was thinking, you guys have a gem here that you just
mm.
don't understand. And
Mhm.
so it was fun to be able to even acknowledge to him that you're different than me and this drives me nuts, but I really appreciate what you have to offer me. And so we had a good relationship in that way because we were different and understood the differences. So that was a time
Wow.
as a coworker that it was a very big difference, but very beneficial.
Definitely. I love how you took it as a positive and you adjusted to it, even to say out loud that this
Mm-hmm.
is driving me crazy, but I appreciate it. And, that's a good reminder that depending on what we want from the conversation, if you wanted just encouragement, maybe you wanted someone to build your confidence, maybe that would not be the person to go to, right? In that moment. No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Because I imagine he had that side too. In some ways, or maybe wouldn't have interacted
yeah.
that much with him. But I guess my point being, there's something, if there's something about what you want with what's going on that can make a difference on who you go to, um, and taking in that critique from him, it sounds like you harnessed that and made you into a better presenter, made you into a better
Mm-hmm.
employee, and that's really awesome. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
Well, I guess one more example of when I almost kind of had to play a game with myself because I had a supervisor a while back that was very, very critical, very high C person. And everything I would turn in, it felt like the goal in their mind, it seemed like the goal to be a good supervisor was to find something wrong. And so I would put a lot of work into something, creating videos, and then they would um, pull it apart in some way, and this person wasn't going to change. We couldn't come to an agreement like I did with my friend. So with
Mm-hmm.
that person, I kind of just I would turn in something that I didn't put a whole lot of time into because I knew they were going to find something wrong. And then
Oh,
when they
okay.
did, I could say, "Oh, okay, thank you," and then go back and put in the normal amount of work that I would have originally.
Oh, wow.
So I
Yeah.
didn't have to do extra work in the long run. I would just turn in kind of the preliminary project,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
knowing I'm going to have to fix it anyway. And so then I wouldn't get mad that I spent all this time. I would just say, okay, thank you, and then go and do what I was going to do anyhow. And since they had a chance to say it was bad, the second time in, they would say, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
You followed my direction.
Right.
And
Okay.
so that was kind of a way to work with somebody who was not going to change, who was stuck
Yeah.
in where they are and had
Yeah.
no desire to move toward the middle. So even if
Okay.
somebody's in that realm, we still can work within that and kind of make our life a little less crazy.
Yeah. That is such a good point. It's interesting how you use that to your benefit without going crazy and
Mm-hmm.
also without putting so much time into it that you felt like no matter what I do, there's going to be a lot or something wrong and I'll have to redo. Very interesting how you handled that. And that's an interesting point for leaders. How are they affecting those that they're supervising? And it sounds like you had a great way to handle that one. So, hey, we're going to stop there for today and we'll be back with more tomorrow. So, thank you for joining us, everybody. I hope you have a great day. And thanks, John. You got some great points here.
See you later.
All right. Bye.